So, check this out, people. I'm back in the US from the Philippines, where I spent 4 months. For anyone who's never traveled outside of the US, I would recommend the Philippines. Anywhere in Asia, I think Asia is a lot more interesting than Europe. I think Europe is too expensive. Not that I've traveled there, I wouldn't want to. But again, if anyone wants to travel outside of the US, I would recommend the Philippines. There's a lot to do. It's really cheap to live there. And the American dollar goes a long, long way. With $10, you can spend the night at a nice hotel and still have a few dollars for breakfast. And I'm not exaggerating. The American dollar is worth 50 times more in the Philippines than it is here. You can rent an apartment or a house in the Philippines for $180 a month and still have money left over to do all the things you want to do while there. So I spent 4 months from November, December, January, February, and I just got back. I'm excited to be back because I was looking forward to getting back to work so that I can make my money and take that money right back to the Philippines where the American dollar is actually worth something. So, a lot of the times we live our lives, all we do is work to pay bills in America, or maybe anywhere in the world. I'm sure it's like that everywhere in the world. People are just working to live, so. And so we all work to pay bills, because we got to pay them. We got to eat. We got to live, right? But there's got to be a better way to do things, and I don't want to live my life working just to pay bills. I don't want to work to pay on a house that I'm never going to own because I'm going to pay on it for 30 years. And then when I'm 75, I'm still going to be paying on it. And when I finally pay it off, I'll be too damn old to appreciate it and enjoy it because I've been working so hard all my life just to pay on this house so that I can die 2 years later so someone else could appreciate it if any of my children decide to live in it. And so I refuse to live my life working to pay on things that are not going to be paid off, and in the end I'm just going to make someone else rich doing it. I try not to finance either because I don't want to hold myself down. I want to be able to travel when I want to and not have any bills here to keep me from doing the things that I enjoy doing while I'm away. And so while I'm away, I island hop, I beach hop, I restaurant hop, I bar hop. I recommend to the fellas that you get a passport. Don't wait till you decide to travel or to want to travel outside of the country to get a passport. Get a passport and have it handy so if ever you decide you want to travel outside of America and see what the world has to offer, you're going to be impressed. You're going to realize that a lot of the nonsense that you're being told about this country is just that, nonsense. It's not just America that's free. There are lots of countries that are just as free, if not even more free than America. Yes, even more free than America. You just have to travel outside of the country to see the smoke that's being blown up your behind by the American government that wants you to believe that outside of America you cannot thrive. And that's bullshit. So, to those people who are out there especially to the older men, where you've already lived your life, you've already raised your children, and you have nothing to do, you're bored. Consider meeting a woman outside of the U.S. Women outside of the U.S. appreciate American men. They appreciate a man that knows how to treat a woman, and a lot of these women who are outside of the U.S., they are classy. A lot of these women know how to treat a man. And when here life ends for most people in their relationships, they begin in other countries, because there are women who are still looking for real men who don't want to just settle, or don't just want to give up on life and end up alone. There are women who still want to be in a relationship and appreciate good men. And unfortunately, here in the U.S., a lot of women don't appreciate a good man. And good women are becoming extinct in America. And good men are also, because a lot of men are leaving to find real women outside of the U.S. That's exactly what I did, because I got tired of the independent woman who's so independent that she doesn't have to tell me where she's going, what she's doing, where she's at, or who she's out with. So I can find a woman who I don't have to ask her those things, because she knows her place and I know my place. There's a place for two people in a relationship, and relationships work both ways. And the problem here in America is that women want independence. They want to be just as independent as a man. But men who are independent need other men. I need my brother, for example. I need someone to help me every now and then. Unfortunately, the American women don't believe they need a man in their life. They don't need a man to help them raise their children. They can do it by themselves. While they go to work, the YouTube will raise her child. The babysitter will raise her child, because she doesn't need a man, right? When she comes home and she's struggling because she has to pay the bills on her own, she doesn't need a man, because she's an independent woman, right? I'm a man and I need somebody, but you got these independent American women who are women, but they don't need nobody. So I found me a woman somewhere where I am actually needed and appreciated. And I'm only going to hang out here in the U.S. for a few more months before I head back to the Philippines, because I got my baby waiting for me, and she's really good to me. I appreciate the way the Filipino women are. They're very feminine, and that's something the American women are lacking, is that femininity that I appreciate in these Asian women. So, get your money, people, and think about doing something with that money. Don't just sit at home thinking about what you should do or what you might do in life to get rich. You want to be rich? You can be rich by having good stories to tell your children or your grandkids when they get older. Because having a lot of money and sitting around and not appreciating what life has to offer, and not experiencing new people, new cultures, new lives, and new lifestyles, it's just a waste of time, you know. So do something with your life. Get a passport. Go to Asia. Go anywhere, but go somewhere and see what life is really like. And when you come back home to the U.S., you're going to appreciate the fact that you are an American. And even though there's freedom in other countries, not just the U.S., and you will find that there's a lot more freedoms in other countries, and that the U.S. is basically overdoing it when it comes to this talk about freedom. But Find out for yourselves, people, what it is that's going on behind the curtains when you wake up in the morning here in this country, when you go to bed at night. Find out what's going on behind the curtains. And the only way you're going to find that out is when you travel outside of the country and see what other countries have to offer. So, get your money, people.